You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday celebration. My name is Bill Smith and I'll be leading this morning's meditation. This month's theme is on living everyday wonder. This week we're asked to prove it. And I thought, what a better way to prove our living everyday wonder than to demonstrate our co-creative power, the power to create with God. So if you will, find a comfortable position, open your chest, relax your shoulders, gently close your eyes, and begin to breathe deeply. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 3, and out through your mouth for a count of 3. In for 3, out for 3. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw, relax your tongue, and settle in for a few moments. All creation stems from the continual flow of energy. When we direct our focus on something we want to do, something we want to create, we simultaneously direct a stream of energy to that thing. Whether it be a book, a culinary dish, a work of art, a woodworking project, the lyrics to a song, or whatever your desired creation is, they all have one thing in common. You. You, as the creator, have the freedom, the choice to craft the sentences in your book, to curate the recipe, to fling paint at a canvas, to sand multiple types of wood, to create poetry from your soul that has real depth and meaning. You are the creator, the decision maker, and the purveyor of whatever it is you set out to make. Your creativity has a unique signature for all those who came before you and all those who will come after you. There is and will only ever be one you in the here and now. whatever you feel called to create, it has chosen you to become its creator. It has chosen you to bring it to life. From mere concept to tangible creation in this time-space reality. Don't you see? You've already been chosen. That creative energy is just waiting for you to direct it in whatever way you see fit. It knows that you are the only one who can bring it to life in the way only you have imagined it, given your exact life experiences, preferences, and vision. You will notice that as you pursue creativity, your inspiration will heighten. The flow of more ideas will come to you, one after another, like fish in a flowing river. This energy stream is always available to you, just as creativity and inspiration are always available to you. New ideas form all the time, but it's up to you to catch them. Inspiration can be sparked at any moment, but it's up to you to make use of it. Any creative hindrances or blocks are just illusions of the mind. Consider this. How can you be blocked when you haven't even started? How can you be hindered when you have an unlimited stream of energy available to you at all times? Clarity arises in the midst of the process, in the midst of the doing. So often we wait for clarity, then get frustrated when it doesn't come. Meanwhile, our creation is on standby. We must start. Start imperfectly. Start messy. Start without a plan. Just start creating and let the process unfold. Let the plan reveal itself to you step by step. There is no one way to creativity. It is a path with many avenues, many turns, and many destinations. You get to choose the path you take. If you wish to take a different path than the one you started on, you can, and you should. That is the beautiful thing about your creativity. You are its one and only creator. What will you create today? How will you demonstrate your living everyday wonder? How will you prove it? Take a deep breath in for 3 and out for 3. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and come back to the room. Namaste.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. All you beautiful CSL souls out there and wannabes, we are delighted to have you with us here today. So, we are an open, loving, and inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. We have a crew today that's helping put this together, and it's awesome. Everybody's here. We have Marina Anderson. She's our tech and the president of our core council, and she's a delight. And Bill Smith gave our wonderful meditation this morning. And I am Star. I am your host today. And then we have music and a reading by Alan Stanley. And he has some beautiful songs that he's going to sing to us. And our invocation today is with Kelly Kapsar. And our wonderful talk today is being given by Reverend Savanna Noelle. And I haven't met her yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay. So here we go. Come on in, Alan.
Thank you, Star. Hello, everybody. Here's a song for everyone. You are a blessing to this world. You touch hearts and minds more than you know. Just let your light shine, it will show. You are a blessing to this world. I am a blessing to this world. I touch hearts and minds more than I know. I let my light shine and it shows. I am a blessing to this world. We are a blessing to this world. We touch hearts and minds more than we know. We let our lights shine and they show. We are a blessing to this world. Now I'd like to invite Kelly in to offer our invocation.
Thank you, Alan. So I continue in this. We are a blessing in this world and to this world. And I breathe in that knowingness that there is truly only one. And I experience that one in the sight of every person I see, in the voice of everything I hear. And I remember truly there is only one. And so I breathe in that knowing that right here where I am, God is. That right here where everyone is, individually and collectively, God is. And so we come together, we bring our lights together, we prove to the world that God is. And we sit back and lean back into the arms of the blessing of each of us individually and collectively. And so I'm so grateful for the appointment of this sacred yes, that everyone who hears this, who participates in this in any way, shape, or form, remembers that they truly are the blessing and that they are God showing up and proving it to the world. For when we say yes, God shows up. And so I just take this into the breath, into the knowing, into the perfection that is life, that is love. And I know that everything that unfolds in this day and this week moving forward is the perfection of God right here and right now. And so I call it good and very good. And I take the breath in, all the way in, letting God travel through all my cells, or the memory that God is, travel through all my cells, waking them all up, allowing me, all of us, to shine our lights, to move forward into this world. And we simply call it good and very good. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Alan.
Excuse me. So we're going to put the words up now. Please sing along. You are a blessing to this world. You touch hearts and minds more than you know. Just let your light shine, it will show. You are a blessing to this world. I am a blessing to this world. I touch hearts and minds more than we know. I let my light shine and it shows. I am a blessing to this world. We are a blessing to this world. We touch hearts and minds more than we know. We let our lights shine and they show. We are a blessing to this world. Let's sing that one more time. We are a blessing to this world. We touch hearts and minds more than we know. We let our lights shine and they show. We are a blessing to this world. And thank you. So it is. So we have our blessing for our new ministers, the sacred covenant that we developed, and it's our prayer and affirmation. So if you would, just read along with me here. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written by Ernest Holmes, let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives as freely as it has been given to us. Let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the sinner in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for I live the presence and law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. Please express your own feelings here. I embrace. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Now we'll do got a Michael Gott song, one of my favorites, that we'll put the words up to, and you can sing along with that one too. Be sure to breathe. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I hear the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I've ever wanted, and all I've ever needed, is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I'm one with the Spirit. It is health to my body. It is peace to my soul. It is joy. It is joy to my soul. I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along. It was singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. I breathe in. I am one with the Spirit. It is health to my body. It is peace to my mind. It is joy. It is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along. It is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
Thank you, Stanley. That's one of my favorites too. I love that. Closer than your hands and feet. I could never understand that. And then being with CSL has helped me reveal that to me. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Star.
Okay, everyone. This month's theme is Living Everyday Wonder. And today's talk, let's prove it. And I'm here to introduce you to our speaker, Reverend Savanna Noelle. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, all right. Good morning, everyone. This is a new platform for me to be using StreamYard, but I am really grateful to be with you this morning. I have to tell you that one of my dearest, closest friends, Reverend Elisha Christopher, who I know all of you know, told me about all of you a while back and said, you should really get on their schedule to speak to them. So thank you so much for having me. I met a few of you last week as well at the convention. Hard to believe that it was my 20th convention. It's just amazing. It was such a great experience, and I hope that you all stay afterwards for the, I guess it's your community gathering, because I'd love to meet some of you there. So today's talk is Living Everyday Wonder, Prove It. One of the very first things that I tell students when I'm teaching the Science of Mind principles is that I don't want people to take everything that I say at face value. I want them to experiment with the principles, work with them, see how it shows up in their lives. I was never one to believe something just because someone told me to. It's definitely the reason why I was kicked out of the Baptist church at 16 years old for asking way too many questions, which I'm sure many of you can relate to in some way. What's beautiful, though, about our teaching is that it's not just through theory that you will see the results. It's through our practice. How does someone get to Carnegie Hall? Well, by practicing. How do we demonstrate principle? By proving it to ourselves. How does one live spiritually? By practicing and then proving it to ourselves. Spiritual living is, as we know, a way of life that happens every moment of every day. It's applying the spiritual tools and the principles to every area of our life. And for me, it's always been important that I make it relevant to our modern time, to what people are experiencing on a regular and consistent basis. So it's not separating our spiritual life from who we are in all areas of our lives. Ernest Holmes said that one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. And as a matter of fact, he says we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. It has taken me, I know, at least, let's see, I've been in the teaching for 20 years. It's taken me many years, at least 10 years, of not intellectualizing these principles and to truly embody and integrate them into my being, into everything that I do. Compartmentalizing, I used to do that in my workplace or with certain friends. I didn't feel that I could fully integrate and be my spiritual self. I'm curious to know, and of course I can't see you, but I want you to just think to yourself, how many of you experience this sometimes, feeling that your spiritual world, your internal life only exists in one area and can't always be spoken about or lived in certain aspects of your life? I know for a time period, I felt this way with my own family, my own, I would say somewhat conservative, very religious family just didn't get it and just didn't understand it. And so I used to shy away from talking about it. Ernest Holmes also reminds us that if there is any field of research where the practical application is necessary, it is in our metaphysical field. The reason being is that the principle of metaphysics seems less tangible to the average person than does the principle of other sciences. And so what we get to look at then is we get to look at this teaching as a science. We know that Ernest meant for it to be not only a science, a philosophy, and a religion, but if we were to break it down in the science aspect of it, Ernest Holmes titled this body of work, The Science of Mind, and he named this teaching religious science. He didn't call it Essays on the Mind or Religious Ruminations. No, he intentionally used this word science. It means it is the intellectual and the practical activity. It is the observation and the experiment. So if we accept the science of mind or religious science as a science, then a mere intellectual knowledge of spiritual principle is insufficient. And it's simply talking about and announcing spiritual principle without, it's more of just the platitudes, right? It demonstrates nothing more than one's spiritual immaturity and the lack of our integration of it. You could also say that it's a spiritual bypass, and I wouldn't go this far into judging one and saying it's spiritual malpractice, but I think you get the idea. If we think about it as a science and we also think about it in terms of a hypothesis, we have this saying and this mantra and this teaching of change your thinking, change your life. It's this axiom of our philosophy, right? It's a basic assumption of our science that it informs our concept of the creative process and our methodology. But when was the last time that you actually thought about this axiom, change your thinking, change your life, with this objective eye and this inquisitive curiosity of a hypothesis, of the scientific method? Last week was the exploration of the value of asking questions. And this month, we are looking at wonder in our daily lives and the power of curiosity. So, what questions can you think of that would open a greater inquiry into exploration of change your thinking, change your life? We've already seen that just stating this platitude, it doesn't necessarily change our experience. So, what does change your thinking really mean? Perhaps it means changing not only what we think about, but the way we think. I said recently to a friend of mine who seems to be drawn more into the negative spiral of things, of just being negative about everything. And I thought to myself, how you're thinking about this is affecting everything. And I told him that. How you're thinking about this is affecting what is happening all around you. And it's just a small but mighty shift, right? Perhaps in order to really change our lives, more than just the thinking, we've got to change our beliefs and our behaviors. We know this when we have been steeped in this work for a while. We know that it isn't just an intellectual exercise. Perhaps our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, they come from our experiences, of course, and what we think and believe and how we behave influences those experiences. In Ernest's famous Sermon by the Sea that he gave at Asilomar in 1959, he said one of my favorite quotes ever, which he said, "Find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is, and I'll myself live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth here." I think we get stuck sometimes with those platitudes of God is good all the time, or this too shall pass, right? These new thought sayings that totally mean well, and they are absolutely true, but they bypass actual human experience and they miss the point of the learning, I believe. So, as you're studying this, no matter your age, no matter how long you've been in this teaching, and some of you might have been at this for a while, we get to ask ourselves, where do I bypass? Am I using these platitudes sometimes to hide behind them in order to not do the work? There is something to be said about faking it till you make it. You know, we pray without ceasing. We treat and we move our feet, but that's the moving our feet part, right? In her book, The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, A Simple Guide to Unlimited Abundance, Edwene Gaines, I love her work, she shares the story of her experiment with the practice of tithing and how tithing her last dollar opened the floodgates that changed her life forever. She tells this talk in every speaking engagement she gives because it's so powerful. And the story is really inspirational, but hearing about it or reading it isn't going to change your life. You can never fully understand the power of what she's saying or any spiritual practice unless you experiment with it and try it for yourself. Prove the principle to yourself, because no one can do it for you. We have to prove it to ourselves. I want to tell you of an experience I had many years ago. I did some work in Ukraine at our spiritual center there in 2004. So I went to Ukraine over a span of 11 years, and I lived there. I worked there with our Science Mind community, with young adults there. I was there about 6 different times. And I remember specifically the very first time I got there, I was with a group of Americans on a delegation. I was 19 years old. And I was already in practitioner training, and I thought I knew everything. And I was teaching some of this stuff for the very first time. And what was really challenging about that experience was that many of them grew up, of course, during the Soviet Union time. And during that time period, a lot of their spirituality, of course, if you look at the history of, the former Soviet Union, a lot of the mystics and their spirituality went underground. They were pushing atheism and science. And so I knew going into it that I wasn't going to be able to use certain terms like the word God because it's such a loaded term there. I couldn't use the word minister or church. I had to find a way to teach this that would touch them at their hearts, of course, but in a way that they would understand it. And the only way I knew to do it was through the scientific route because that is what they knew. Of course, I wanted to say, well, God is all there is. Spirit is all there is, but I could say energy or universe and reach them even more so without using the heavy words like God and, father, mother, any of those terms. And so I would say to them, okay, you don't believe that this works in your life? Prove it to yourself. Experiment with this one principle and see how the creative process is working in your life. And of course, sure enough, they started to see in their own lives that things were happening differently for them because of the way they were thinking about it. I want you to remember this formula that I have for you. And the formula is your belief plus the law equals evidence. Belief plus the law equals evidence. If you think about it, we all have beliefs that we have, had from childhood on, and we reshape them over time. And if you think about how the law works, which is it always says yes to our every desire and intention, the belief plus the law, if you have a belief in scarcity or lack, then of course the universe says yes, the law says yes, you're right. And then the brain, what it does is we are so geared towards story and meaning and making meaning that we will go and find evidence to prove that the story we're telling is true and that the belief that we have, that there is evidence to prove that belief, that I am not supported and that I live in lack, right? Which is why it's so important then that we examine our beliefs and the places where we're looking for evidence to prove that it's true. So that instead of I am not supported, it's all my needs are met and more, right? So if I start to embody this belief, then I start looking for evidence to prove to myself that yes, everything is working out together for my good. Integration of this teaching happens through practice. It's through our inner work. It is not linear. What I know also is, even in my young life, the work never stops. I know that just by the nature of things, right? We think it's the layers of the onion that we keep peeling and then realizing, oh, I'm back at that thing again that I didn't learn the lesson of. The Bible quotes this in a different way in the book of Malachi 3:10. It says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be enough room to store it." The work never stops. This is about the experimentation of spiritual principle. There's this story of Johnny. And one day, Johnny decided that he wanted to get healthier. So he joined the local gym. And included in his membership, there were 3 sessions with a personal trainer. And at their first meeting, after listening to Johnny's goals, the trainer helped him create a plan and showed him some exercises to get him started. And Johnny paid attention to what the trainer was showing him, and he was even taking notes. So Johnny left the gym and he was super excited to get started. And a few weeks later, he met with the trainer again, and the trainer gave Johnny some more exercises. He suggested a couple of classes that they offer at the gym that he thought that he might like. And he talked about some possible nutrition changes that Johnny might consider. So after the 3rd session, Johnny complained to his trainer. He was just like, "I'm not seeing any results. I'm not, you told me I would get results and I'm not seeing them. And so he was curious. The trainer was quite curious and wanting to know, like, what's going on with Johnny? I want him to achieve his goals, but he asked him a few questions. He said, Johnny, which classes have you taken? And Johnny said, I haven't taken any. And he says, well, what dietary changes have you made? And he said, none. And he said, well, of the exercises that I showed you, which ones do you do most often? And he's like, Johnny says, wait, what? You mean I'm supposed to actually do them? In total disbelief. And this is just, it's really silly. It's a very silly story, but it's a great example of you have to practice the principles. It is not enough for us to just say them aloud. It is something we want to embody and be about in the world, right? So let's experiment. So I want you to just take a moment and choose an area of your life that you currently want to shift. So it could be your inner life, or maybe it's play, more play and fun, creativity. It could be relationships or work. It could be finances or home. Perhaps you're seeking a greater community or something in terms of your health and body. And I want you to just decide right now, decide today, that you're going to get really curious about this. I love curiosity because curiosity helps us move into a willingness. It's not this finite thing. It's just getting our toes wet, right? Getting curious about this area. And I want you to, even if it helps you to close your eyes, to formulate a question about exploring this further. What steps do you think you would have to take to transform this area? What beliefs would have to shift to change the evidence that you are looking for in that area? Just sit with that for just a moment. What steps would you have to take to transform that area? And what beliefs would you need to shift to change the evidence that you're looking for? And what I want you to do is when you have that, go write it down or make note of it and do some research. Over the coming weeks, do some research, collect some data, start to train the mind to find evidence for the things that you want shifted. One of the examples that I have most recently in my own personal life is I had this experience where I decided, because I'm stepping away from my spiritual center here in Seattle, and I'm up-leveling my work in the world in terms of my own ministry and my own business. But in order to build my business, I need other streams of revenue, right? So I decided that I was going to go out and get a job and work in a completely new field that is totally out of my wheelhouse. And I started envisioning and visualizing what kind of jobs I wanted. 2 part-time jobs. I was very specific about them, what it felt like, what my hours were, when I wanted to work, how close the location was that I wanted it to be. I thought about the environment and the people that I wanted to be with. And then I took steps towards it, right? We visualize, we pray, we treat, and then we move our feet. So I got my resume out, I updated it, and I knew that this area of hospitality that I'm moving into, I knew that my resume didn't exhibit anything on there about the hospitality industry except my ability to work with people, right? My communication and relationships. But I thought, nope, that is not going to stop me. I am going to continue to see in my mind what it is that I want. So I went, I got the permits that I needed. I got the licenses that I had to have these positions. And you have to understand, this is a very humbling experience, right? Coming from a field of ministry and then going into something completely new and different that I've never done before. And because of COVID and the pandemic, people are really seeking this type of work. It is essential right now. People need it, right? Their businesses are wanting to stay open. Within 3 weeks of searching, I was very specific about where I applied. And would you know, I only went on 2 interviews, 2. And for both of them, they were so non-conventional, non-traditional in the way that I was interviewed. I visualized on the drive. Of course, my eyes were open, but I thought about how I wanted to experience this all the way up until I got there. And I knew halfway through the interview process for both of them that I was going to get these jobs. It was not hard. Actually, it was quite easy. I don't even know if they looked at my resume, but what they did do is they looked at my website and they said, "Oh my gosh, I love the work that you do." And I thought to myself, I did not have to change anything about who I am. I didn't have to tell them I wasn't a minister. I did not have to explain my resume and my background over the last 20 years. It spoke for itself because of who I am. I was not forced to compartmentalize my spirituality over here, as I was just saying earlier, right? So I got both positions and I got them in a fairly decent amount of time, right? In a very short period of time. So the questions that I have for you that I want to leave you with today are these. What is keeping you from doing or practicing or being in and with your spiritual practice? Maybe you have a great practice and that's amazing. What else would you like to add to it that will help you with this shift? The other question I have for you is what is it that motivates and supports you to stay centered and grounded? What is that? What is it that motivates you to stay centered and grounded? And the last question is, what new things do you want to try? What new things do you want to try? I'm going to close with this quote and then I'll go into a prayer. Ernest Holmes says in the Science Mind textbook, page 423, "I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered." Yes, indeed. Thank you, Ernest. Let us just go into a prayer now. So we just take that holy breath, just take a deep inhale and an exhale. Just taking in all of the words that have been spoken, all the music that has been sung from this morning. We connect to that life, that power, that presence, that divine intelligence that is everywhere all the time. It is infusing itself in, through, and as my life right here and now and the life of each and every one of us. It is love. It is beauty. It is opulence. It is abundance. It is joy. It is love. It is unconditional love and faith. And so I know that this power and this presence is living and breathing and moving through each and every one of us as we continue to unravel the layers of that onion, as we continue to be gentle with our practice, with ourselves, bringing in compassion for whatever area you might be working through right now that you might be challenged by. I just bring that extra healing light and that extra love to whatever area that might be, knowing that there is transformation that is happening at every moment as we sink deeper into our own practice of this teaching. And thank goodness for it. And so I bless each and every one of us. I bless this spiritual community, knowing that the perfect and right minister comes forth. I'm holding that in my own high watch, knowing that all the right pieces and people and resources and money and everything comes together perfectly in a divine, aligned way. And now I just want us all to just bring into our hearts someone that might need a little extra love today. Just say their name aloud, surrounding them with love, knowing their wholeness, their perfection, their divine guidance and clarity. And so with all the love in my heart, I give gratitude. I give gratitude for this day. I give gratitude for this prayer and for the many ways that each and every one of us bring our unique gifts to the world, for I know that it is absolutely making a huge impact. And so with that and the more, I know all is well. And together, let us just say, Ashe, Namaste, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. What a gorgeous talk. I am just so uplifted. Thank you so much, Reverend Savanna.
You're welcome.
And I'm glad that you're going to come with us and be with us on Zoom, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that we're going to go, whoa, yes, yes, yes.
Good.
I'm ready for this.
Awesome. Thank you.
We'll see you then. Okay, everyone. Oh boy, what a talk. It was beautiful. Now we have announcements, so let's go for it. Okay. Thank you to all of those who attended our gathering yesterday. It was really a lot of fun, and we were in the sun, and it was so beautiful to be just sitting outside in the sun. And that was warm enough. And we had 4 new members show up, and we're so grateful to have them. And we had a kind of a round robin around the circle, and it was fun, and it was exciting. And hope you'll be with us next time. Okay, our book club. Co-host Sue and Alan on Thursdays between 6 and 7. Discover the power within you. And that is what our whole philosophy is about. So join them. And thank you so much for spreading the love and offering your tithes and yourselves and other offerings to us. We solely appreciate it. You can give online on PayPal at CSLSGeorge.org, or you can send us a check in the mail. We appreciate it. Or you can scan me on your computer. And we certainly do appreciate all that you give. We're here for you. We have community support circles, care circles. We have calls. We call people. We send cards and prayer. We also have our practitioners who want to support you for any circumstances in your life. And we are so available to you. We have, I think, 5 or 6 practitioners here in CSL St. George. So please contact us if you need us. Okay, our community conversations is at noon right after the service. There's a link in the newsletter in our Friday reminder. You can access that link and we'll see you there. It's a Zoom meeting and we love it. Okay, next Sunday, next thing coming up is Reverend Joe Kovacs, who just became newly ordained. We can hardly wait to see our beautiful Joe come and talk to us. Can I see the God in me? Wow. And then the following week, another special favorite is Steph Swink. She's a religious science practitioner. On February 13th, pause and find the cause. I love that pausing. Okay, we're going to bring everybody back on, and we're going to do a little closing affirmation for everybody online. And here we are. And here we go.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it. And I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank
you.
Yay.
Woo! Well, this was a
Thank you all.
glorious day. Thank you, Reverend Savanna. I'm totally inspired. Hi.
Hi.
I had the pleasure, Chris and I had the pleasure of meeting and chatting and having lunch with Reverend Savanna last week in California. And I'm so glad we brought this to fruition. And I hope we get to have the joy of your presence again sometime.
Yeah, I think I'm on the schedule. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody.
See you all on the Zoom.
everybody.
Love you.
All right, see you in Zoom.
Bye-bye.